All right, let's talk about something we have all felt. You know that moment, right? The conversation just hits a wall. All the background noise seems to fade away, and you're just left there floating in the sea of, well, awkward silence. It's a feeling everybody knows, but today we're going to unpack it, understand why it happens, and maybe, just maybe, learn how to control it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Your heart starts to pound a little faster, your mind goes into overdrive, just scrambling for anything to say. It feels like a full-on social emergency, like a giant spotlight just landed on you for all the wrong reasons. That sudden, gut-wrenching, sinking feeling, that's our focus today.
So what even is an awkward silence in official terms? Well, it's that uncomfortably long pause in a conversation that creates some very real anxiety and discomfort. But here's the crazy part. That uncomfortably long pause, it's probably a lot shorter than you think.
That's it. 4 seconds. Research shows that for most English speakers, a pause starts to feel officially, certifiably awkward after just 4 seconds. 4, isn't that wild? It's just incredible how such a tiny little gap in time can trigger such a massive primal reaction in us. So why? Why does our brain go into full-on panic mode over something so small? Well, this brings us to the science behind the panic. And it turns out this isn't some modern-day social anxiety. Nope. It's a deep-seated primal glitch in our wiring. It's not about you being bad at conversations. It's about your brain doing exactly what it was designed to do thousands and thousands of years ago. So, meet the culprit. It's a tiny almond-shaped part of your brain called the amygdala. This is your brain's ancient alarm system. It's the same part that's responsible for that fight or flight response. You know, when you see a snake, the amygdala just fires up. And believe it or not, when a conversation stops out of nowhere, it does the exact same thing.
And that sets off this lightning-fast chain reaction. The second your brain detects silence, boom, your amygdala sounds the alarm, flagging it as a potential social threat. That's when panic mode kicks in, and your brain starts screaming one simple urgent command: fill the void, say anything, right now. But why in the world does our brain treat silence like it's a saber-toothed tiger? Well, it's because on a primal level, we're hardwired to see it as social rejection. I mean, think about it. For our hunter-gatherer ancestors, being cast out from the tribe wasn't just embarrassing, it was a literal death sentence. That ancient fear is still buried deep inside us today. Silence feels dangerous because for millennia, it was. Okay, so we know why our brains freak out. Now, what in the world do we do about it? Let's get practical. This next section is all about the Great Escape, your tactical toolkit you can use to navigate your way out of that awkward moment. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you've got the conversation killer. It's a question that just leads to a dead end. A simple yes or no, conversation over. But a conversation savior, that's different. By asking a question that prompts a story, you're not just asking for a fact. You're inviting them to share an experience, an opinion, a whole narrative. So here are a few rescue tactics you can keep in your back pocket. You could try giving a genuine compliment and then immediately follow it up with a question. Or ask one of those story-generating questions we just talked about. You know, one of the best moves is to refer back to something they mentioned earlier. It's gold because it proves you are actually listening. And finally, sharing a quick personal connection to whatever you're talking about shows you're really in the conversation. And listen, this one is so important. Sometimes the best escape is an actual escape. A lull in the conversation is a perfectly natural, perfectly acceptable exit point. You don't have to force it to keep going. A simple, well, it was so great chatting with you, is a sign of social grace, not failure. Okay, so we've learned all the ways to run away from an awkward silence. But now we're going to do a complete 180. We're going to flip this entire script and look at how silence can be not a weakness, but a source of incredible strength. And this is the question I really want you to think about. What if our deep-seated instinct to panic and just fill the void? What if that's actually robbing us of a really powerful tool? What if we've been looking at silence all wrong this entire time? This quote from the ancient philosopher Lao Tzu just nails it. For centuries, thinkers have understood this. Silence isn't just an absence of noise. It's a presence. It has its own weight, its own meaning, and its own power. It's because not all silence is created equal. We've been so focused on that first one, awkward silence, which is all about anxiety and fear, but think about comfortable silence, the kind you can share with a close friend, the kind that signals trust and intimacy. And then there's strategic silence, a pause that's used on purpose for power and influence. That is the one we're going to learn how to harness. So how do we actually do this? How do we turn this idea into a real-life superpower? How can you actively use silence to your advantage in situations that matter, from a job interview to a high-stakes negotiation? Let me tell you about this real-life example from a negotiation expert named Gavin Pressman. He was in a meeting and was told his rates were too high. His response? He just said, "I understand." And then he did nothing. He just waited in total silence for 10 seconds. That silence created so much pressure that the other person caved and agreed to his original rate. I mean, wow, that is powerful stuff. And you can apply this strategy everywhere. In your next job interview, if you get a tough question, just say, "That's a great question. Let me think for a moment." Pausing shows confidence, not confusion. In a group meeting, try asking a question and then just wait. It gives other people the space to actually think and contribute. And yep, in a salary negotiation, state your number and then go silent. It puts the ball right back in their court. Now, using silence effectively means you first have to get comfortable with it yourself, which is easier said than done, right? So here are a few little internal tricks. Physically ground yourself, plant your feet flat on the floor. Take a look at the other person. If their eyes are looking down in a way, they're probably just thinking, not judging you. Take a few deep breaths to calm down that amygdala alarm. And finally, take control of your inner voice. Instead of thinking, "Oh no, this is so awkward," tell yourself, "I'm comfortable with this pause." So, in the end, it all comes down to this. We started this whole journey by looking at silence as a problem that needed to be solved, an enemy to escape from. But now, hopefully, we can see it as a tool to be used. The next time that 4-second pause arrives, and it will, you have a choice. Are you going to frantically fill it, or are you going to use it? The power is all yours.